Welcome to week 5 of high school game day. I'm here with Wyatt Bice. I'm Cy Hallberg, and we're going to start off by recapping our games from last week. Prep versus JA. Jackson Prep dominated in all facets of the game there. We both picked that pretty easily. Pillow at Washington, also a blowout. We both got that one very easy. MRA went to Mag Heights. We both talked about this game being maybe competitive. MRA handled them 35-7. What do you think?
I mean, the 6A won. We both said they were pretty good for their division, 6A and 5A powerhouses, but, MRA ran away with it. So
Yeah. Tri-County went to Clinton Christian. We were both kind of curious how Tri-County was going to bounce back after the loss last week, and they did so in blowout fashion, 44-0. PCS traveled to Park Lane. We both kind of thought an interesting game. We both picked Park Lane. Park Lane dominated 46-14. Why do you think it was such a blowout?
I mean, I thought it'd be a little closer personally, but I think Park Lane just came in and just scored a lot of points, 46-14. I mean, they were on a roll offensively. So
yeah, and then Columbus and Cleveland Central. We both don't really know much about Cleveland Central. We picked that game between them and West Point last week, I think. Columbus wins. I had Columbus. You took Cleveland Central. Close game, but Columbus finally figuring things out.
Yeah, I thought Cleveland Central was gonna, pull it out, but Columbus just came out to play. Cleveland Central scored a lot of points through the year, and they did not do that then, just 19.
Yeah.
So
Lake Cormorant went to West Point, and West Point handled business. We both predicted that. Heritage went to Leak. Like we said, Leak, they're just so inconsistent. You didn't know what to do. We both picked Heritage and fared well for us. 35-6 Heritage.
I mean, Leak is just – they're hard to read.
Yeah.
They beat Simpson earlier in the year, and then they lose to just some terrible teams, and then now they lose again. I just don't know how they're going to pan out, but, Heritage handled them. So
yeah, that was an interesting game. Oak Hill went to Central Holmes Christian. Oak Hill struggling to stop teams right now, just giving up a lot of points. They lose 35-49. We both did not pick that one correctly. Tough matchup there. Bio came to Starkville Academy. 27-6 is the final score. Starkville Academy gets the Colts on senior night. Good game for the Vols.
good showing.
Yeah, that moves. I went 9-1 last week. You went 8-2. That puts me 35-7 on the year. You 30-12. Good start for both of us as we enter playoffs next week. We got one more week in the regular season. How do you feel about your predictions?
Well, regular season, that's just a toss-up. We'll see in playoffs who comes out on top.
Yeah. That wraps up our recap. We're going to send it to Chloe for her interviews.
Thanks, Sign Wide. I'm Chloe Harden. I'm here with Zanaya Harris. What grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
And how was Fright Night?
It was fun.
What was your favorite song?
It had to be Set It Off by Boosie.
And did you think the spooky hallway was scary?
No.
Thank you. I'm with Landry Williamson, and who do you think the mascot is?
I think it's Marco
Why do you think that?
because we saw his shirt at the first football game he was at.
And what's your favorite part about football games?
Just getting to watch them play and beat other teams.
Right. Thank you. Back to y'all.
Thank you, Chloe. We're moving into our MAS games this week. A big one in 6A Prep, traveling to Hartfield. Not a far travel, but still got to go over there and see how they do. I think they dominate, handle Hartfield.
Prep is coming off a huge win against JA. Hartfield scored an impressive 49 last week, but I think Prep's just going to roll over them.
Yeah, on to PCS and JA. This is weird. They're both, like we said last week, that big circle at the bottom of 6A. Never know how it's going to go. I think JA, they can handle business here. PCS has gone absolutely downhill. JA needs a big win to kind of set themselves up for their good spot in the playoff. I think JA handles them, but interesting game.
PCS is on a 2-game losing streak. So, JA did lose last week, but I think they'll have a little more to play for this week just because, like you said, they're at the bottom and they're trying to fight their way up. So, I feel like JA will come out with this one.
Yeah, Park Lane at MRA, this isn't going to be a good game for Park Lane. The Patriots are going to take down the Pioneers pretty handedly.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
agree.
think? Yeah,
MRA.
easy one there. Lamar at Leak. Now this is Lamar 3-6, Leak 3-5. Like we said, Leak, you never know what you're going to get, and Lamar has finally picked it up, their stride down the stretch of the season, kind of setting themselves up a big game for the playoff seeding. You know, right now I think they both sit at like 6 and 9, Leak barely ahead, and that can flip right here. I think Lamar beats them, gets some good spot in the playoffs. I think the winner gets home field advantage possibly.
I completely agree. I mean, like we said earlier, Leak is just, you never know who's going to go on the field and play. So I'm going to have to take Lamar. They've won 3 in a row, and I think they're about to make it 4. So
Yeah, they've been hot lately. Now, interesting 4A matchup, Winston at Carroll. What do you think about that game?
I think it's going to be Winston all the way. Not much to it.
Yeah, I think both teams are strong defensively, have decent offenses. That's not really how they play. They've really dominated up front, both teams. I think the physicality gets to Winston, and Carroll beats them right there, and handles business. That wraps up our MAS games. We're going to move on to Beckett and his interviews.
I'm Beckett Leslie, and I'm here with.
Kelly Dawkins.
And what do you teach?
I teach chemistry and 8th grade earth science.
What are your expectations for the Vols headed into the playoffs?
We're going to win it all.
I'd like to hear that. And out of all the places in the world that you could go for vacation, where would you go?
To the beach.
What's so great about the beach?
I love the sand and the ocean and the sun.
Sa?
Thank you, Beckett. Now into our area games of the week. A lot of cool matchups this week. We got Starkville and Oxford in the Mini Egg Bowl. Some key MIS games before playoffs. We're going to start with Oak Hill at Marshall. Oak Hill 3-6. They started out the year hot, and then they've kind of gone on a real cold stretch here, allowing a lot of points. A lot of key injuries on defense, I think, has hurt them. They've allowed way too many touchdowns recently. Marshall been dominant lately. I think they win this one.
I mean, like you said, Oak Hill, it's just been a snowball effect. It's just gone way downhill for them. Marshall, they score 30 points a game average. So I think they're just going to score and a lot of points, and Oak Hill's not going to be able to stop it.
Probably a shootout there. Yeah. Greenville 0-7 comes to West Point. This game will be played on a Saturday. West Point has found their stride, I think. They're going to handle business completely. It's not even going to be close.
No. Greenville is 0-7. West Point is not 0-7. They're 5-2. So, I mean, West Point all the way on this one.
Yeah, now for the big one, the Mini Egg Bowl is what they call it. Starkville going to Oxford. Starkville 5-3, Oxford 4-3. Both decent records. They're both struggled at times. Oxford coming off a huge win at Clinton last week. You know, Clinton knocked off Starkville not too long ago. Starkville finally got in the win column last week. Pretty big game for them. Have they found their offense, you think?
I mean, I don't think you can really tell against Murrah. I mean, that is kind of a throwaway game, but they did lose 2 before it, and Oxford beat Clinton, who beat Starkville.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's the Mini Egg Bowl. You never know. It's always a toss-up, but I'm going to take Oxford on this one.
I mean, yeah, they don't call it the Mini Egg Bowl for anything. I mean, you watch Ole Miss and State, you never know who's going to win that game. You really never know who's going to win this game. I think Oxford gets it. We haven't talked much about Matt Howard this year since he's moved to public school. I think he shows what he's made of and why he's a 4-star, and he gets the job done. Heritage traveling to Pillow. Tough draw for Pillow senior night, I think. It's not going to be good for the Mustangs. Heritage uses their athleticism and just beats them pretty bad.
I think it's going to be Heritage by a lot.
Yeah. Now Starkville Academy goes to Washington. A long drive. Do you think the long bus ride affects the players anyway? I mean, will they come off the bus tired, or do they come out and dominate?
I mean, absolutely not. Washington's 2-7, Starkville 6-4. I think they're going to get off the bus and handle business.
Yeah, they're going to be ready to rock, and it's going to be ugly. I got Starkville as well. Now we're going to send it to Ben Lyle for the weather.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at J. Logan Field. Vols are headed to Greenville tonight to face Washington. It's going to be about 64 degrees at kickoff. You're probably going to need a coat and a blanket to keep you warm, and you might even need a tent. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Ben. We're about to go to a story on the soccer team this year as they wrapped up their season not long ago. They had a successful year, I think, under a new head coach. A lot of new players, young girls, a young team. How do you think they did?
I mean, I think they did pretty well. They had a lot of good seniors. Meredith Reed made it to the All-Star game. I mean, I think they keep getting better through the years. This was their first year with a new coach, but I think they did I think they had a pretty successful season.
Yeah, and
So,
it's always a tough matchup when you have to travel to Greenwood and play
Oh, yeah.
pillow in any girls' sport, and that was just tough for them. But a successful year nonetheless. Now we're going to send it to Davis, who has the report.
Hi, I'm Davis Lancaster here with Coach Doss. Coach, how did the season go this year?
So I think overall it went pretty well. It's a good first season, a good introduction sort of to the school and to the team. Overall, maybe 7 out of 10. There are areas to improve, definitely, but pretty good start.
What should we expect next year with the girls soccer team?
Next year, I think what we're going to look to do is just sort of build on what we did well here, and the things we didn't do so well, probably just do a little bit better and maybe bring a little more intensity into what we were doing.
And do you have any words on the boys soccer team?
What do you mean words?
Like their upcoming season, what should we expect out of them?
Okay, so this is a team that did really well from what I understand last season and graduated a lot of seniors. So they made the state final. I hope we can look to build on that, and I hope they go into the season hungry and ready to hit the ground moving.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jake Lockhart, and I'm here with.
Mary Reagan Wilkes.
What position did you play this past year in soccer?
I played goalkeeper.
How do you think this past season went with soccer?
Really good. We had a coaching change, which is always an adjustment, but we made it into the first round of playoffs, and we're second overall in district.
Where do you think you'll be planning to go to college next year?
Probably Mississippi State.
Thank you.
Jackson, what position do you play on the soccer team?
Striker and right wing.
How do you think the season's going to go this year?
I think we got a lot to look forward to. We lost a lot of seniors last year, so we got a rebuilding year for sure, but hopefully it goes well.
And what do you think the new coach is going to bring to the table this year?
Hopefully he brings a lot. Hope we play like we did last year and just have a different group of guys, and hopefully we make it back to state.
Thank you. Back to Sion White.
Thank you, Davis. That concludes our show. Come back next week for a playoff preview. I'm your host, Si Hallberg.
I'm Wyatt Bice. Have a great day. Go Vols.
I'm freezing.